Hi YouTube, my name is Claire and I am a radio presenter on the Pulse Hospital Radio every Tuesday night, 7 until 8 p.m. I've decided to make a YouTube channel basically so I can put all my podcasts, all my interviews in one place. So if you miss the show, you can listen back. This week I interviewed Rachel Haylock. She is the founder of Breath, Body and Earth, and we talked about feminism, we talked about solo traveling in South America, we talked about Guatemala, about yoga, Rachel's upcycling project, y las abuelitas de la calle, all be revealed in the podcast. So in theory, after this, the podcast should play. And then you can catch me next week, 7 till 8 p.m. And I'll also post the link of the radio station so you can find us online. So yeah, see you then. Bye.
Let's start with Breath, Body and Earth. What inspired you to make something like Breath, Body and Earth, and what is it?
Okay, so I was inspired to create Breath, Body, Earth as a platform about 3 years ago. I was training as a dancer, contemporary dancer, and something one of my teachers would say before we started dancing was take this time to connect with your breath, your body, and the earth. And that really resonated for me because those are the only three things that we truly have in life, the only three things that we really need. And from there, I created a blog called Breath, Body, Earth, and it's just grown. And now I have a project out in Guatemala, which comes under that network kind of platform. And I've also started a platform for young, independent, professional women. So if you own your own business, or if you're a freelancer, or if you're just a young professional woman, it's a place where we can support each other and share ideas. There's no pressure to buy, just an exchange of ideas and conversation.
Oh my goodness, there's just so much meaty conversation in there. Okay, so that everything that you've just said is quite inspirational, I think.
Thank
you. Let's go back to the part where you talk about living in Guatemala, and you've started doing a project with some of the community. So talk to us a little bit. Talk to us from the beginning all the way through, and how that project's going at the moment.
Okay, so our project is called Las Abuelitas de la Calle, which is the grandmothers of the street. And if any of you have ever been to Latin America, you will have seen the beautiful crafted products, the hand-woven material, the embroidered everything.
It's beautiful, it's colourful, it's vibrant.
Yes, yeah, it's just full of life. And it's normally made by indigenous women. And these women often sit on the side of the road and they sell their work for pennies, really. You can buy things for 10 or 20p, which are worth so much more. And so our project aims at helping older women who maybe can't sell as well, they can't stand very long, they can't see very well. And we buy secondhand clothes from the market and we pay them a fair wage to upcycle them with beautiful Guatemalan designs and fabric, and then we sell them here in the UK, and the money that we make we use to make sure they have clean water, they have roofs on their houses, and all of these kinds of things.
Wow. And what inspired you to make that the focus of part of your energy? So you focus yourself on a lot of things, but what made you decide to help these people of Guatemala?
Well, I think especially in Latino culture, women are very much second citizens. They're not as educated. A lot of the indigenous women are illiterate, and by the time you become older, you become invisible. So when you're young, you're a beautiful young woman. When you're a mother, you're a mother. When you get old, you kind of become invisible. And we really wanted to give a way for these women to still experience their life, to still earn a living as well, because a lot of them don't make that much money. And so we just kind of saw a window of opportunity, and we just took it.
And you say we. Who is we?
So me and my partner, he's Guatemalan. We live together in Guatemala.
Oh, how romantic. And does this take up all your time? What else do you do alongside this project? How do you fundamentally set up a project like this? Where did you get where did you get the roots to do a project like Las Abuelitas de la Calle? How did it begin?
Well, I already had Breath, Body, Earth as a platform.
Yeah.
And it was actually a friend that gave me the idea because I wanted to make some T-shirts, and she was like, hey, why don't you make them kind of Guatemalan style? And then I was like, ding. And then the idea just came together. And there's a big secondhand market called La Paca. And it's just full of secondhand clothes. Like you have everything you could ever dream of.
Oh my God.
I spend quite a few hours a week going through all of that, finding it's normally denim because that supports the fabric, or t-shirts or jumpers. And then I'm trying to give about 5 items of clothing per week to the abuelitas, because then what we pay them matches the national minimum wage.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's our aim, is to get them all on the national minimum wage.
Wow. What kinds of products do you have? So you said you work on denim. How can we visualize for the people listening in, what kind of clothes do you upcycle?
So there's a lot of jeans, a lot of like Levi jeans and Lee jeans, and we have different patchworks on the pockets, some different details on the front, and we're always experimenting. Now we're going to get some strips going down the side. So we're really just going to respond to what the people want and get feedback. And yeah, just go from there.
That's amazing. And how did you find Las Abuelitas? And was that through your partner who lives in Guatemala and knows them, or how did that happen?
I literally just saw them sitting on the side of the road, and I would go over and I would speak to them in my very broken Spanish that I'm starting a project and are they interested, etc., etc. And yeah, we currently have 3 abuelitas, Juana, Flavia, and Paula. Shout out, even though they'll never hear this. Yeah, and they're just really lovely women, and they're really grateful, and we're really grateful to have them as well. So it's a really nice relationship.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, guys. If you have just tuned in, I have Rachel Haylock on my show. She's the founder of Breath, Body and Earth, and we've just been talking about an upcycling project that she has just started. So we are just going to go to a break, and then we're going to come back for part 2 in a couple more songs. I hope you are enjoying the show, and stay tuned. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So if people have just tuned in, quickly give us a little resume of the things that we've just talked about.
Okay, so I founded the Breath, Body, Earth platform, which is really just a space for mind, body and soul. We also have a project in Guatemala at the moment where we're helping Indigenous women by selling clothes that they upcycle by hand. If you want to know more, then you can head over to my social media. It's at Breath, Body, Earth, or my website, which is breathbodyearth.com.
That website is there's so much on there, and there's so much to read, and there's a lot of your experiences on there, and how you came to live in Guatemala. And another part of that is talks a lot about your yoga. So talk to us about your journey from when you started practicing yoga to where you are now.
Okay, so I found yoga actually at the Hare Krishna temple here in Watford, back to
Really?
Manor. Yeah, that was my first ever yoga class. I think I was 16, and it is quite close to my house. I can walk from my house. That was my first yoga class, and then I found it again. I was at university. I was studying contemporary dance, and it kind of just went really well alongside that. I started working in a yoga studio, and they were like, hey, you can do your teacher training here for half price.
Wow.
If you work 8 hours a week. And I was like, yeah, cool. And then it just went from there.
So it kind of fell naturally into place.
Yeah.
Learning to teach yoga.
Exactly.
And then when you did some traveling, you went over to Latin America, and you taught yoga. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, so I actually started in Hawaii, and I did Hawaii.
So exotic. So exotic.
I did like an energy exchange program. So I got free board, I actually lived in a tent, but I got free board, free food. I taught a bit of yoga, I taught a bit of dance, I worked in the kitchen. I took a lot of yoga classes.
Was that work away?
No, not work away. It's actually gone now. It's been destroyed by the volcano that's just been erupting there. But it was a place called Kalani Honua, which in Hawaiian means heaven on earth.
Wow.
And it was an educational retreat center. So there was a lot of like permaculture, growing your own food, living with the land, doing yoga, and all of this kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
What made you move over to or travel to Hawaii? Was it for the yoga experience, or was it, to connect with nature?
Well, I literally just found this thing on Google that was like, hey, you can do an energy exchange with us and we'll give you free food. And I was planning a trip away. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go to Hawaii then.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy experience. I mean, I did 6 months traveling I had hardly any money. I did a lot of like work exchange on the way. So I was teaching yoga, or I was working a couple of days in a hostel for some food and a bed. And I went to Mexico and then Belize and then finally Guatemala. And then I just kept going back.
Wow. In your blog, you talk a lot about, connecting your body with nature and the world around us. I think that's fundamentally when you say connects your brain with your body and your breath and everything. That's quite hard. How do you put that into practice?
I think something that really helped me was that a friend, he actually works in permaculture, so he spends a lot of time growing things and talking to plants. And he said to me that we are nature and our mind creates the illusion that we're separate.
Can you say that again? Because you need to say that again so it goes into my head.
Okay, so we are natural beings. We are nature. And our mind likes to label things. It likes to put logic on things. It likes to tell us who we think we should be and how we think we should feel. And that creates a separation. That creates a separation between us, between the natural world, between the animals. And that was really a game changer for me, because you trust your mind to have all of the answers. But really that could be the thing blocking you from receiving the answers. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. It really, if you really think about it. Yeah. Yes, it does.
Yeah, because your mind's been conditioned through all your experiences, right, to have this certain perception of yourself and the world around you. And for me, getting in touch with my body and getting in touch with my surroundings and other people is by dropping that
barrier.
Yeah, that preconceived notion that I have of myself or what the other person is like or how an event should play out.
I guess you could say that's very deep, but you've just got to have the time to let those barriers down and have that time to connect with your body. Over here, in all parts of the world, we're so busy, we never actually stop and connect and breathe. And there's no time. London is like 24 hours busy. You eat, sleep, drink, work, like blah blah blah, blah, and there's no time just to find those connections.
Yeah, and it makes complete sense to me because your body is there with you through your whole life. Every single experience you've had, you experience through your body. Everything you see, you feel it through your body. And there's so much intelligence in your body, and we kind of focus our intelligence on the mind when really there's a whole network of intelligences that exist inside our body as well. Like if you think about even how your body heals, if you get a cut and how your body heals, your mind's not telling your body to do that. That's your body's natural reaction. Yeah.
And you, alongside yoga, you also I call it expressive dancer. You express yourself through dance. And on your Instagram page you post a lot of your dances, and you get that inspiration through stuff that you've read. So I'll let you do the talking, but talk to us about those dances.
Yeah, so I guess dance is really a form of self-love for me. Like it's how I show my body that I love my body, and I show myself that I love myself. And I just put music on and I try and do it every day, and I just move my body in whatever way my body feels like moving. It doesn't have to be aesthetically pleasing. It's really almost a form of therapy for me. It's how I work through my problems. And even if that just means I sit on the floor and I move my head around for a bit, that's still, to me, that's still a dance, and that's still a way of working through whatever I'm going through.
Definitely. Maybe I'm definitely going to start following your social media pages and looking more into this. But is this information all on your Breath Body Earth as well, or is it mainly on your Instagram account?
Yeah, so I have my personal Instagram page, which is more dancey, is Rachel's Universe. So it's RACHAELS_universe.
You had to think about that for a moment.
How do I spell my name?
Okay. You call yourself a feminist. Well, you are a feminist.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that came about when you went traveling, when you started doing yoga? When did that process begin for you?
That really began at university. We studied ballet, And then we spent a lot of our time in theoretical lessons questioning ballet and questioning kind of like the constraints of society, the role of women in dance, the role of women in life. And yeah, that's where it really began for me. Yeah, but I think, if you believe in equality, if you want equality, then you're a feminist. And that might be hard to admit to yourself, but you should.
Good. Okay, thank you so much. Guys, we are going to go to a quick break. We have about 20 minutes left of my radio show, so stay tuned for much, much more. It is a Latino night, so again, you're going to hear more Latino tunes. Stay tuned for more. Our interview in the studio, Rachel Haylock, welcome back.
Hi.
Hello. So I think most importantly, something that we haven't spoken about yet is what's currently happening in Guatemala. You've spoken a lot about yoga and the platform that you've started. But tell us what is happening right now in Guatemala.
So, as most of you probably know, there was a volcanic eruption last week and the government did not issue warnings quick enough. And as a result, I think it's now over 100 people are confirmed dead. A couple hundred more are missing, and over 3,000 people have lost their homes, all their belongings, loved ones. They're currently living in shelters. So that's the current situation. And yeah.
So firstly, where are you in all of this, and where were you at the time of the volcano exploded, I guess?
Yeah, so I live about 10 miles away from the volcano. So my town got just kind of covered in ash for a couple of days. We weren't very badly affected, but there are quite a few shelters where I'm living and a lot of donation sites where I'm living. So people are bringing food, medicine, water, clothes, anything that they can. And the community has really come together because the government have refused to give aid. They refuse to respond. So all of the relief is solely reliant on other countries or the people that are living in Guatemala.
And I'm not that educated on the topic, but do you know why this is? Why has there been a failure from the side of the Guatemalan government to give that aid? What are people saying in the town? The people, you're directly there, you're with these people. What have they said? What have the people around you said about it?
There's just a lot of criticism of the government. The government has failed the people time and time again. There's no trust between the people and the government. There's been protests in the city, but I don't think the government are listening. I don't think they have an interest in hearing what the people have to say. And
what have you been doing? So, you flew back from Guatemala only the other day, before you left. What was happening? What were you doing? Was there anything that you could do?
Yeah, so I've been raising money from people in the UK and the US, and there's a link on my Instagram, or it's GoFundMe Guatemala Volcano Relief. And then I'm working with one of my friends he's a Guatemalan, he's a business owner in Guatemala, and he is using those funds to buy essential medicine. We've been told by a doctor what is most needed.
Yeah.
And water and food. And right now we're holding back because the shelters are full. There's a lot of donations come in, but we know that this is going to be an ongoing thing.
Definitely.
So we want to make weekly supply runs for as long as possible. So if you have anything that you could donate, and even just a few pounds goes such a long way in that part of the world. So that would be really great if you have any change knocking around, if you could donate that.
That's fantastic. So can you just say again where they can find that information if they would like to donate to the relief that people are, the aid that they're trying to send out, the people like you that are trying to give out aid? Where can they?
So you can find the link on my Instagram bio at Breath Body Earth, or it's on GoFundMe as Guatemala Volcano Relief.
Wow, thank you very, very much. I think that, this will be an ongoing, for a very long time, Guatemala are going to be in this situation. So I think, as you said, money goes a long way there, and that every little will literally be able to help the people of the city.
Yeah, and I think another important thing is if you know anyone that has a trip booked to Guatemala, please encourage them to go. I know it says in the news that it's dangerous and you shouldn't go, but you should. It's a beautiful country. There is so much to experience. You're going to be completely safe. If you stick to where the travelers are, stay away from the big volcanoes, you wouldn't be going there anyway. You'd be absolutely fine.
I think this is something that I've been really excited to actually talk to you about, because I spent quite a lot of time in Colombia in South America, and you've spent a lot of time in Guatemala, and the culture is extremely vibrant. There's the music, the food, the people, the nature. What do you like most about Guatemala?
It's just the energy. I mean, I've been noticing today in London, I've been walking around and hardly anybody says good morning. I walk down the road from my house in Guatemala and everybody is smiling. Good morning, how are you? Everybody's friends with everyone. It's just really beautiful energy. And yeah, the colors, the vibrancy, the music, there's music everywhere. Even in the supermarket, there's music like we've been playing today, just blaring out. Yeah. And everybody wants to talk to you. Everybody has something to say, or they want you to say something.
Definitely. Latin American culture is very much, very friendly. People don't have a second agenda. I think they're very much, they don't have everything in lots of parts of Latin America. They don't have money, but they do have a huge heart, and they do have very big families, and they are very welcoming. And both as travellers, as both of us, I think we've experienced that people genuinely do look out for you as a solo girl, maybe travelling around. People do have good intentions. You can't always see the world with a bad face.
Yeah. Definitely. That's something I've really experienced firsthand, is the families there. And when you enter a Guatemalan family, they really treat you as one of the family. You get fed well. It's just incomparable. It's not like anything I've experienced here. And I really encourage everyone to go and experience that. Even if you don't speak any Spanish, they'll still try and talk to you, and you'll still find a way of communicating with each other. And it's so important to learn from other cultures, especially in a place where maybe you wouldn't normally go to.
Definitely. People that are in Watford General Hospital, they might be in one of the hospital wards downstairs, or in Hemel Hospital too. What's the message that you want to leave with the people that we're tuned into right now?
Oh gosh, I think just keep dreaming, I guess, and stay true to yourself through whatever life throws at you. And if you want to chat about anything that I've spoken about, feel free to contact me through Instagram as well, and I'd be happy to talk to you.
Thank you so much. Well, guys, that is the end of my radio show. I will be back next week at the same time. Rachel, one more time, thank you so much. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
See you next week, guys.
Good evening. Wishing you well.